Hello everybody, Michael LeBlanc here, sitting with you wherever you are. And I just want to give a big happy birthday to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, when you see this, it's going to be after the 20th, which was Martin Luther King Day. That's actually when it was posted. I don't know if you've stumbled upon this. If you have, welcome. And if I'm just shouting out to the world, it's okay, because I wanted to celebrate the life of a man who had done so much for the world. Most people have heard the name Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Maybe some people didn't know who he was. Some people still don't know who he is, as evident of some of the interviewing that I have done. But some of the stuff that I found out was what he did as far as his activism towards trying to create non-violent ways on how to deal with very stressful situations. And a lot of violence was thrown his way, and he found his balance in life while really struggling to get everybody on the same page and tried to bring the world together. It was a huge step towards the right direction on trying to create a global positive karmic sphere, and I can definitely appreciate that. A little bit of history about him, if you didn't know. He was actually named Michael Luther King, the same thing as his father was, and they had their name changed when his father came back from Europe, being very influenced by Martin Luther and the way that he stood up for what he believed in as well. I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm not a history buff, but I do know these key points because I did look this up. I know about Martin Luther King and I know about the things that he's done, but over this last couple of weeks, I've learned a lot more about him, and I felt that I really appreciate the things that he did for us and the world. A lot of things that were done, of course, after his death. Back in 1944, he was only 15 years old, and he had already graduated high school. 4 years later, he's graduating Moorhead College, or Moorhead University, and he graduated with a bachelor's and went directly into ministry after that. There was a lot of other things that drove him to get to that point, but that's where he wound up. He wound up in the ministry after school, and from there, I mean, there was a lot that he did, where he did a lot to fight for the freedom of his people that he saw around him being constantly oppressed. Black people all over were being told that they couldn't live the same as everybody else, and he stood up for them. His death left a huge mark on the world. His life left one as well. And there are people today who appreciated what he did. There are people out there who still appreciate what he did. And there are definitely differing degrees of appreciation and knowledge about him. So I decided to go out there and ask a few people to see what they thought about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Check it out. Outside of the library, I was finally able to get somebody to come out here. I've asked a couple people. This is the first one to come out, Shanna, right?
Yes.
And of course, this is Michael. She's gonna tell us what she thinks about Martin Luther King. So we're gonna flip the camera around. So Shanna, what I've been trying to do is ask people about what Martin Luther King meant to them, or how they feel that he changed the world, or changed the world for them. You know, it's not sometimes about changing the world, it's about for somebody else. So go ahead, tell me what you think.
So definitely loyalty to himself and his own views and his dreams. I felt like he just didn't give up, didn't care what people said. You know, he had an idea, he stuck with it. So I kind of carry that with my personal life. If I feel like I want to do something, go for something, I just feel like, you know, don't ever give up, keep going for it. It might not show at the time, but eventually it'll show, or you might be gone, RIP, but you definitely could make a difference in someone. And definitely, I just feel persistence.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Shanna.
Thank you.
And I have Henry, who is hanging out here at the library.
I think he just was a real positive person. You know, he gave up a lot, you know what I'm saying, to help people of my color and my kind. And he actually gave up his life for it. So I think he helped out a lot. You know, we're able to do things that we wasn't able to do, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it's better. I mean, it's not where we should be, but it's better than it was.
That's good. Better than it was is always better.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Henry.
No problem.
Michael here, and this is Rod. You're gonna make it quick, so we're not gonna flip the camera around right now because you said you got your dog waiting out there.
I think he affected the world greatly as far as getting rights for the blacks and all. Like I said, I thought he did some really good stuff. He could go back to that and realize what he was trying to do and what he did do for them and take advantage of what he did for them.
Sure. I think everybody really, I mean,
everybody needs to live his life the way he lived his life.
Right.
But like I said, it's just, the world's gone so crazy the last few years.
if they could take that message of nonviolence, probably.
Exactly. It needs to go back. They need to go back and learn his teachings.
All right, I love that. I was able to come out on a different balcony of the library and talk to Latasha here. How do you feel about Dr. Martin Luther King? How do you feel that he affected the world, or yourself?
I think that Dr. King was a positive impact on the world, actually. He brought a lot of social issues to light. He did a lot for not just African American people, but you know, all people, and trying to get everybody to come together for one, you know, cause, which was equality.
Perfect. I'm here with Christy outside the library again. Just tell me how you feel about Dr. Martin Luther King.
When it comes to Mr. King, I feel like he definitely did have a good impact, seeing as I know about the whole like segregation thing and all, but I feel like I get to connect better with people that aren't my same race. I listen to my grandparents talk a lot, and they didn't have a diverse group of friends or whatever like I have, and I feel like that connection is because of the changes he's made on the world and bringing us together.
All right, I'm out here on a different balcony this time. The last one I was over there. Where that's at is not important. What it is I have Megan here. Megan, right?
Hello.
Hi.
I wasn't alive when he was, so I don't really know like how the world was before he stated what he stated. But I know growing up and knowing of him that I know what he stood for, and it really did impact the world. I just wasn't around to see the impact. But
That's good. Well, I mean, I feel like there's a lot in this world where you could probably at least see a fingerprint of his on there. So that's definitely a good thing. This is Chuck. Chuck has been doing things with his job as well, and I think I interrupted a business meeting in there, but he was very gracious and he said that he would do this. So what do you feel Dr. Martin Luther King did for the world? How do you feel about that guy?
Well, you know, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, where Dr. King is treated as an icon and a hero, and almost
Definitely.
Almost like a demigod there. And one thing that we always hear about is the dream, and I think the truth is that dream without economic and social action is empty. If we really want to see the dream realized, then we have to completely rework our economic and social system and try to tear down the constraints of white supremacy.
Okay, yeah, you gotta start change if you're gonna continue change. I hear you. All right, thank you so much, Chuck. That was great. I'll give you an awkward other handshake. All right, everybody, I think this might be my last one for the day. The rain's starting to come down a little more, and I gotta get home before my AT&T repairman tears up my house. So this is Sheryl. She agreed to be my last one for the day. Sheryl, tell me a little bit about Dr. Martin Luther King and what he means to you.
Well, Dr. Martin Luther King gave up a lot. Literally, he gave up his life. But the sad part about it is we're still living in the conditions of what he spoke about.
Yes.
There is some change, but we still have a long way to go. He said his dream was one day that his 4 children would one day be judged by the color of their skin,
yes,
but by the content of their character. And maybe if we could start doing that, this world would be a lot better, and let's just keep the dream alive.
All right. Yeah, definitely carry on what he's carry on with us.
Yes.
Teach the people who are underneath us the things that we learn from him. That's awesome.
You are starting.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're
All right, well, I'm going to awkwardly shake your hand with my other hand. There we go. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Be
And I hope you have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry about the siren in the background, and we're not doing this again. Like she said, she's camera shy, so we're not going to do this twice. So if I need to, I'll do subtitles. Note to self. So thank you everybody who actually took the time to sit down with me or stand up with me and tell me about how you felt about the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So shortly before his death in 1963, the infamous speech of "I Have a Dream" and the letter that he sent from Birmingham City Jail, it's labeled "Letter from Birmingham City Jail," all exemplified how he was feeling, what he saw, and put his message out there. It wasn't long after that in 1968, of course, he was assassinated in Memphis. I've been there. If you ever get a chance to go, please go. There's a beautiful, stoic, very impressive site of the hotel where he was, shot and killed, where there's been a museum dedicated to all the stuff that he's done and the change thereafter as well. I'll put a link in the description to tell you where to go with that. There's also other places that you can go, like thekingcenter.org, which tell everything about him and what he did with his life, including what went on with his family, as well as his wife and his 4 children. And he was a father, he was a husband, he was a reverend, he was an activist, he was a very influential and very strong-willed individual who I feel can really give a lot of motivation to the people around us now, if not ourselves. Take these lessons that he taught us about nonviolence and about brotherhood and about togetherness and about the fact that we are all human beings just trying to live together and make this place more tolerable than it can be at times. This is the message that I'm choosing to take with me after all this, is that we can choose to take a life of change and not one of compliance. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much for sitting with me, guys. As always, I love you. Save a seat for me, and I'll see you soon.